hello to all of you. Hello, hello to all of you. I'm Delores Jones, and I am the comeback coach. And my job is simply to inspire you, to provide you with intriguing, important information and a way to get through it. So today, for the very first time, I am on live on Facebook and YouTube. Hi, everybody. So if you want to come on over right now, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube page, which is Delores Jones TV. And that's me. So today my topic is, God, I am mad that you made me beautiful. I know it's kind of like you would think that a person who is beautiful would be okay with that. But I am here to tell you that that is not the case. Many, many times I have given a woman or gave a woman a compliment. And I said, girl, you fine, you fine. And she's like, She doesn't want that attention because unfortunately, in certain situations or certain families, on your job, people just assume that a beautiful woman has everything. She got it going on. Everybody wants her, and that's not true. And so today I want to address that. And I want to send this out to all of my sister friends that already know I'm constantly telling you how beautiful you are. And I want you to be unapologetically okay with that. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about where that even comes from and what you can do about it, because that's what's most important to you, right? And that's what my channel is about. My channel is about bringing you intriguing, inspiring, lively discussions about what's important to you. It ain't about anybody else. This is all about you. What do you need to do to have the best life ever? Okay, thank you. So for those of you here on my YouTube page, go ahead and hit that notification button. I see you all as well. Those of you that have been my faithful people here on Facebook Live, I appreciate you too. So make sure you hit both of them, all right? Okay, waving back and giving love to you. God, I am mad that you made me beautiful. Why? Because being beautiful presents a challenge. There are people who just assume because you're beautiful that you're arrogant, that you want to use your beauty to get ahead. Forget the fact that you're brilliant and intelligent and bold and bodacious. Some people want to pigeonhole you and say, the reason you are where you are is because you are beautiful. Now, if we take time right now and we think about Lizzo, and all of the controversies surrounding her and one particular person, Dr. Boyce Watkins. I mean, we all know him. He put a post out there and he said that the reason that Lizzo was so successful is because of the obesity epidemic. Now, y'all know that's a bunch of crap. Nothing against Dr. Boyce Watkins. That was his opinion. But at the end of the day, Lizzo is beautiful. And she is extremely talented because she busted her ass, right? But no, we want to try to limit her creativity and her beauty and her boldness to rock a bikini, which I'm like, Lizzo, I'm right behind you, okay? We want to limit that. And we want to take away from her just being her. And how many of you all in your life, you have family members or you have you're on a job and nobody wants to give you credit. They don't want to give you credit. They want to say you slept your way up or he only did that for you because you're pretty. And in some cases, you do get benefits for being beautiful. Research has shown it. I've experienced it. But I want us to know that it's not your fault. There's a song out there by Anthony Brown in Group Therapy, and it's called Blessings on Blessings. And there's a part where he says, don't hate. Take it up with God. He did it. See, I have grown to now realize that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And it had nothing to do with anybody. It was just God's grace. He chose to gift you with that one thing. And so if being beautiful is something that's going to open the door for you, then by all means, go ahead and step in the door. There's a book that says, what you think about me is none of my business. And honey, that is so true. Because other people's thoughts and opinions, that's their business. Someone once said, opinions are like buttholes. Hey, okay? Everybody got one. And I didn't ask you all that. I didn't ask you to tell me if I was beautiful. I didn't even ask you to tell me if you like me. Because what we have to understand is people have preferences, and don't allow their preferences to become your problem. Case in point, you meet someone, ladies, and you meet him that day and you have on a red dress. And I mean, you're that woman in red. You're that lady in red. I mean, you walk in the room like Maya Angelou's talked about, as cool as you please. And to the men, the fellows stand or they bow down on their knees, and then they swarm around me, a hive of honeybees. I say, it's in the reach of my arm. It's in the span of my hips. It's in the stride of my step, honey, and it is the curl of my lips because I am a woman. Phenomenally. Phenomenal woman. That's me. Now you have to get that down in your spirit because nobody is going to come up to you and just tell you how phenomenal you are. And I just have to caution you, if you're waiting for somebody to affirm you and to appreciate you, then you're going to be mad a lot because everybody has issues. With a show of hands, how many of you all have ever been jealous of somebody? Okay, maybe not you. Maybe it's that friend of yours. Honey, I have been jealous. You know why? Because sometimes we get jealous of people because we want what they want. And for some reason, we don't believe that we can have it. It makes us uncomfortable because maybe we haven't figured out a way to get it. Maybe we don't have the friends in our circle to help us get it. Let me give you an example of what that looks like. You know, for those of you who don't know this, my mother was murdered when I was 5 years old. 5, that's right. Her name is Marianne Jones. My mom was 15 when she had me. And for a girl, it's very important for her to see herself in her mother. So can you imagine if you don't have a mother, where do you start to see yourself? Well, you're now dependent upon people to tell you if you're good looking or not. Because parents are your first teachers. They're your greatest teachers. But unfortunately, we have found that there's some people that don't ever need to be a parent. However, let's move forward. So here I am. I'm supposed to learn that I am beautiful. But I didn't know that. I didn't know that I was beautiful. In fact, I had such low self-esteem that I would walk with my head down. In high school, in elementary, I was taller than all of the boys. And so I fought like every day when I was at Emerson Elementary School in Argentina, here in Kansas City, Kansas, right? And it was just so taxing. And eventually I met this young woman named Lysandra Hagan. And Lysandra was the other tall girl in the class. And lo and behold, she and I became best friends. And we are still best friends to this day. You know, that type of friend that you don't have to talk to him or her every day. But once y'all speak, you know that they're there for you. You know that they're going to affirm you no matter what. They will love you through your craziness. That means they will love you through your good and they will love you in your bad, through your bad. Ask my friend, because she was with me when I took a car for my boyfriend. His friend worked at the nursing home. Oh, no, at the funeral home. And so she said, Didi, give him back his car. I said, I can't give it back because I wrecked his car. Didi, give him back his car. So we're on a high speed, chase. This is really ridiculous. Back then I was 17 and we're driving through the highway, through the neighborhood. Let me calm down. Through the neighborhood, and we're driving through the yards, and then they're following us in a limousine and a hearse. I can't make this stuff up. But eventually I gave the car back. Okay. She loved me through that. And you want people that are going to love you through your good and through your bad. You want people who are going to love you when you're feeling insecure and when you're feeling like you are the shiznick and you're on top of the world. But some of us don't want to face that. And so when you don't face it, it shows up when you least expect it, like at your job and you get fired, or like in your relationship with the person who's not your ex, but you can't let that go because you haven't dealt with the here and now. So back to my story about a young woman at church, and her mother used to make such a big to-do about her. And I'm going to say her name, the first name, because she and I have already talked about this, and her name is Janine. And her mom would be like, Janine this and Janine, and it's her birthday. And are you coming to the party for Janine? And I just, I was like, yeah, I'm coming. But after a while, that kind of gets old. Because if you're not feeling the love, then it's hard for you to watch somebody else feel the love, right? Okay. So all of a sudden, she and I are on the dance team together at church. Now, you can't be mad and not like the person you're supposed to be dancing with. Although some of these people are doing this right now. I ain't talking about you unless it's you. So one day I was like, Dolores, you are so jealous of Janine. And I was like, I don't want to be jealous of her because I would hug her, I would pray for her. But, when I saw her and I saw her mom, I couldn't help it. It was eating me up. And so instead of allowing the jealousy to win, I just said, Dolores, go and tell Janine why you are jealous of her. Because you need to ask yourself why. And the truth was, I was jealous of Janine because she had a mother. And her mother was there for her, and her mother adored her. And she was grown, and her mama was still there. I mean, her mother celebrated her. Well, the opposite for me, because I buried my mother when I was 5. And my mom didn't get to even take me to kindergarten. She didn't get to see me graduate. She didn't get to brush my hair. She didn't get to, tell me how beautiful I was. But even at 5, I'm going to tell you how good God is with memory. I still remember my mother holding me and loving on me. And she would fight you. She would fight you. But when she disappeared and nobody talked about her in my family to this day, because it was so hurtful, so painful, that me and my 2 younger brothers, we're just like, well, who are we? And when no one recognizes where you've come from, in some way it says to you, I'm not important. And so I took that with me along the way, carried it for 40 years. We're going to talk about that you're not important. You're beautiful. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, you're beautiful. And you can't help it. Take it up with God. He did it. So I go to Janine and I'm like, Janine, I need to talk to you. And I'm glad she was open. And I said, Janine, I was just wondering why I was jealous of you. And she said, oh, Dolores. I said, no. This ain't something we don't pray about. We're going to talk about it. Because that's some people's problem. You want to pray about everything, but you don't want to talk about anything. Hello, church people. I love the Lord, but I am not Jesus. Okay, so try Jesus. Don't try me. Jesus will save you, but I might slap you. Anyway, and we're back. So as we're talking, Janine is like, oh, Dolores, no. And I said, yes. I said, I need to share this with you. I have to share this with you so that I can get it off of me. Part of the challenge is when we're holding on to all that. And I'm going to tell you right now, some of those burdens, they get heavy. They get so heavy and you become so defensive. And once I got it out, she laughed and I laughed and we hugged. And from that day forward, it never, ever, ever bothered me again. I was jealous because she had a mother and I did not. And so when we can grab hold of that, we're going to save ourselves a lot of heartache and disappointment, right? So the title of this particular video is called, God, I'm mad that you made me beautiful. Oftentimes you'll meet somebody and they can't even accept a good compliment. Oh, I like your hair. Oh, it's getting old. I gotta go see, okay. Oh, I like your shirt dress. Oh, this whole thing, you begin to downplay and discredit who you are, not because you want to, but because other people have hated you or haunted you or talked badly about you. And so if we're not careful, we begin to associate the abuse and the mistreatment with the fact that we're beautiful. And you didn't have anything to do with that. That's what God decided to give you, because we all have something, right? Some people have a beautiful voice. And some people, well, just make me ugly. No, you don't want to be ugly, baby, because ugly people have problems too. Do you hear me talking to you? Ugly people got problems too. And I hope ain't none of y'all feeling ugly. But, they say beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. But what I want you to understand is you need to be the person that sees the beauty. When you are between 0 and 5, psychologists and therapists, and I'm a social worker, master's level social worker and coach, we know that between the ages of 0 and 5 is when your personality begins to shape. You begin to find your voice. You know if it's okay for you to speak up or to shut up. And I don't know if you were like me, but we were in that time and age where they said a child is to be seen and not heard. The problem with that is kids will take that into a place when they're being abused and mistreated. And they won't want to say anything. And then you hear this, Don't you go up to that school and tell nobody what's going on in my house. And if you look at the news, these kids are dying. They're dying at the hands of their own parents. Something is definitely wrong. And in order for me to love you, I have to learn to love me, and I have to deal with my stuff. And sometimes you get dropped because the person that was supposed to help you was dropped themselves. And y'all just know, I don't need no therapy. Yes, you need to talk to somebody because you're killing people. You're killing people. You're killing each other. So how do we accept the fact that we're beautiful? I mean, it's a work in progress. Believe me, honey. I could see the beauty on everybody else. And then there was this one young woman named Lizzie. Oh, I thought she was the prettiest girl I had ever seen. Elizabeth Davis. We called her Lizzie at church. And she was, I mean, you couldn't tell Lizzie anything. She was tall, statuesque. She walked in, honey. You knew when Lizzie was walking in. I mean, she was so gorgeous that people would be like salivating, you know. And I would just sit back and admire her. And I kept thinking to myself, she is so beautiful. I mean, she is so beautiful. And I would go up to her and I would say, you know, you're so beautiful. And she said, thank you. And then sometimes you tell somebody they're beautiful and they're waiting for the attack. They're waiting for the attack. So they'll be like, you know, they gonna come for me too. She gonna be just like my mama. She gonna be just like my daddy. She gonna be just like my no good boyfriend. She gonna be just like Big Nose Bobby. You know, so you ready to go. You ready to pounce on them because you've been done wrong so long. So finally one day, as the years went on and the years went on, someone came to me and they said, Delores, you look just like Lizzie. And I'm like, no, I don't. Now I'm gonna argue with somebody who is telling me that I'm beautiful. And I shut them down. I was like, no, I don't look like Lizzie. I don't look like Lizzie. I don't. Then one day someone took a picture and they gave me a copy of this picture. And believe it or not, I did look like Elizabeth. I looked like Lizzie, the girl that I was admiring from afar off. We could have been twins. I was like, oh my God. But then my cousin Portia, she presented me with something that changed the course of my life forever. She found an old picture of my mother, Marianne Jones. And she blew the picture up in an 8x10 and she put it in a frame and she gave it to me and she gave one to my two brothers. And I looked at my mother and I said, oh my God, that is my mama? She was the prettiest woman that I had ever seen. But I was her daughter. And I decided to accept that. And when I honed in on that, because she was holding me, because see, when we moved so much, we lost pictures of my mom. You know, how you take pictures at the funeral? Somebody stole the pictures of my mother. Why would you want a picture of a dead woman? You know, why would you want that? I don't know. But they took that from us. But then God has a way of giving it back to you, especially when you can learn to appreciate it in others. Because sometimes people don't want all the attention that you think they have. They just want to be normal. But guess what? You weren't made to be normal. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. You are made in the image of God and his likeness. You're made in the one who says, let there be, and it is so. And so with all this other garbage that somebody has told you, now you're struggling. And then the people who want to give you who see your beauty, you're trying to fight them. Ladies, y'all know we do that. We can fight off people who want to love us. But once we accept and we acknowledge where we are in this thing, and that's what this video is about, is for you to really own. And it's okay to say, God, I'm mad. God, I'm pissed. Because guess what? God can handle it. He is the ruler of everything. And you are an extension of who he is. You can call him divine if you want to, because I know sometimes in people's homes, people will use the Bible to beat you over the head while they are provoking you. And then you snap back and they're like, oh, that's just the devil. And you're like, no, that ain't the devil. This is me. And then, if you wouldn't say, baby, I'm saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost. But if you keep talking to me like that, you're going to get a look of the Holy Ghost, okay? Because eventually, when you start shaking, coming out, and you begin to really see who you are, you're going to get pissed off. You're going to be so pissed off. Because you're going to be like, why didn't nobody tell me this? because you wasted all them years waiting for validation. Isn't that terrible? It's real. It's real. Why else would people go and pay thousands upon thousands of dollars to get fake butts? Now, listen, that's your thing. Okay. But I'm not ready to die to be beautiful. Right. And the reason for that, we are in that comparison place. We look at what television says is beauty. We look at the people like, okay, so let me go ahead and buy me this booty. Well, let me go ahead and, get what you call it, a breastlet, right? And these are natural, okay? After I had my son, they just magically appeared. And I was like, what? Okay. So don't ask me where I went because they all natural. And because people target you when you're beautiful. And for all the beautiful people out there, hey, and you know what I'm talking about. And so Pinky's out there and she said, we are our worst critics. That is true. But where did you learn to criticize yourself? You lived with somebody who criticized you. This is the truth. And I know you're like, I don't want them to look bad because I didn't mean it like that. Well, honey, when you speak your truth, not everybody's going to like it. And what happened to you is what happened to you. That's your story. So speaking of stories, first of all, I'm Delores Jones, the comeback coach. My job is to help you bounce back better, not bitter, through life experiences and bad decisions. We make them, but that does not have to be the end of your life. You don't have to keep being in prison because you're beautiful, right? You didn't ask for this, but God gifted you with that. And so you tell them, take it up with God, he did it. You have, if it's your beauty, then get on the cover of a magazine. If it's your voice, then go ahead and make that record, okay? If it is your mind and you're you write films like Tyler Perry's movie. I don't know if you all got to see this on Netflix, but I watched it yesterday and it is fantastic. I'll talk about it later. And it's called Fall from Grace. It was fantastic. And there's an article out there that said that Tyler Perry does not allow anybody to write his stories or his scripts. And you have the critics out there, well, that's why he lopsided. His stories ain't depicted Black women the way they are. And I'm looking at him saying, well, it took you like a year to write a term paper. And in some fact, you ain't even wrote a term paper, so shut the hell up. Thank you, Tyler Perry, for not listening to critics. Do you know what that man went through? Well, I don't care. I wouldn't dress up like no woman in a dress. Well, that's why you at home and you ain't got no money, okay? Now shut up. Listen, you can't handle it because nobody gave it to you. See, if you are accustomed to being celebrated, why would you have a problem with somebody else being celebrated? You just always, Dolores, it's always about you. It's like, no, it's not really always about me. Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. And when that comes from inside your home, oh my gosh, or if that comes from inside the relationship with the person who vowed to love you, through the good and through the bad, and you realize they had a completely, totally different agenda, that your beauty attracted them, but they were so cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, they couldn't keep you, or they brought you in and then they wanted to change you. So here I am. I'm raised by my grandmother, who is an awesome, awesome intellectual. And she taught me how to dress. She taught me how to be regal. She told me you don't have to, you don't have to look like you're struggling. You can be broke, but you don't have to look broke. In fact, you just temporarily between blessings and you don't have to look broke. So that's why when I was at Schlegel High School at 17 and I was homeless and there was no water and lights because of the drug situation coming back into my family, just like that. I came home, I couldn't take a bath, nothing. And it was like my whole life just fell apart. And now I really didn't want nobody to notice me. But they did. At school, the kids noticed that I was stinky. But they didn't know what was going on. And neither did they know I had buried my mother. Neither did they know. So I had this plan, y'all. I had this plan. I was like, Lord, okay, I'm going to get up this morning. Because first of all, I didn't want that attention. And I sure don't want this attention. So I'm going to walk in front of a moving bus. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk in front of this moving bus. And then it's all going to be over. And as I'm walking up the street, 44th in Georgia in Kansas City, Kansas, I'm going up that long hill and someone notices me. And they said, sweetheart. And I said, yes. They said, you don't look right. See, this was a different type of attention. What if I would have said, you don't know me, don't you talk to me? But I didn't have anything else to lose. But what they did is they interrupted the story that was going on in my head, the same way I'm doing that for you right now. Because really, it's the stories that we tell ourselves, because there is power in words. In fact, there's a power of life and death in your own tongue. Have you ever said, oh, these kids is killing me, and then now you're in the hospital? Well, what happened? You already said they was killing you. I'm like, oh, ain't nobody gonna kill me, honey. Devil, you should have got me when I didn't know who I was. Because that's what it's about. The goal of the adversary or the critic is to keep you so bogged down that you don't see how powerful you really are. Why? Because once you wake up, then there's going to be a whole lot of changing coming around up in this place, like Sophia said in The Color Purple. Pass me them peas, you old fool. But if I can keep her, like if I can just let her know, if I can keep her from realizing how great and awesome she is, then I can continue to control her. Called codependency. And I know you were like me. I was like, I didn't know codependent relationship, but I really was. I was in a codependent relationship within my own family. That was hard. And I had to make some decisions. God, why did you make me beautiful? Well, Dolores, I needed you to have that because I want you to be humble too. So a person will know you don't have to use your body to get ahead. You can use your moneymaker, which is up here. You can still be poised and beautiful because it is attracting people to you. But when they come for you, then I want you to show them my love. But Lord, he coming in, he fine, but he ain't it. Lord, please, I just want to go out with him. No. See, you are beautiful for a reason. You got access for a reason. And if your beauty is the thing that unlocks the door, then walk through. When you get in there, do you. Do you. Do you, and do it till you satisfied. And understand, this year, we're not dealing with people who don't tolerate us. We're dealing with people who celebrate us. But the celebration starts with you first. It's from the head down. So you got to get your head in the game, honey. You got to get your head in the game. Speaking of which, the Chiefs are going to play tomorrow, and we're expecting them to win the championship. And I'm back. Okay? Don't hate me because I love the Kansas City Chiefs. Hold on. I got to take a sip. Now, do you have any questions? Hello, YouTube. I'm Delores Jones, the comeback coach. Yes, I am new, but so are you. And I want you to keep coming back. I want to serve it up as often as I can because I want to talk about things that are important to you. It's time out for trying to impress other people that don't even care about you. You know, you have the bullies who come up to try to bully you because you're beautiful. It's a shame. I watch these little girls and even boys commit suicide because they were different. You know, did your grandma or your mom and them used to tell you this story? She said, Didi, you're not a duck. You're a beautiful swan. And I'm like, Mama, that's getting old because I fight like every day when I come home. And she said, it's going to be okay. You're just not a duck, Dolores. And I was like, okay, here we go. I'm just not a duck. But Lord, right now I want to duck and hide. And eventually I began to spread my wings. And I realized there was more to me than fingertips and lips and hips, that I was brilliant. But I had to take time to focus more on that than the haters. See, haters are going to hate, but winners win. You got to stay focused. You got to stay focused. And you have to learn not to argue with a crazy person. Because there's a quote that says, a person that is convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. In other words, you can't change what somebody else thinks about you. You can't. And it's unfortunate. But once you realize that, you're going to save yourself a lot of heartache and a lot of pain. At this point in juncture of my life, it's all about expecting nothing but appreciating everything. That's how you walk away from disappointments. Don't expect them to tell you you're beautiful. But if they do, say, thank you very much. Okay. Don't expect it. Like the woman who had the red dress on, right? Let's get back to that part. Because preferences are not your problem. So the guy meets you, you got this red dress on. He's like, she's lady in red. She is lady in red. And so you're like, oh, so he's giving you all that, conversation. And so all of a sudden, you see him again. And he says, oh, Levita, I love you in red. But this day you have on blue, right? You have on blue. Mm-hmm. So you're like, well, he didn't say anything because I have on blue. He said, he didn't say anything and I got on blue. So now you want to know, why didn't he say anything? So you kind of play it off. You're like, okay. So he meets you again. This time you have on green. And you cute too. You cute. You got that green on, you working it, you smelling good. You walk in, you're just feeling fine, as you know you are a brick house, okay? And then he just says, hi. And you're waiting. He will tell me I'm beautiful. And he says, oh, that's nice, but you really look good in red. So what do? Of course, you go back home and you look for all the red stuff in your closet, right? I'm going to wear this red dress. And then you go back to the store and you buy all red. So now every time you see this person, you got to have on red. Why? Because red is what's going to get you the compliment that you so desperately think you need. That's a person's preference. He prefers red. If you don't wear red, it does not mean you're not beautiful. And if you're not his cup of tea, then he needs to go back to Starbucks or someplace and get something else. But it's time out from going through all these changes and trying to go against what God naturally gave you. Hey, Chris Watson, I love you. Why would you do that? Why would you spend time wasting your time trying to please people who can't even please themselves? And I'm going to tell y'all this newsflash, some of the people in your family. In your family. Now, don't go and start cussing people out because I didn't tell you to do that. I want you to first wake up, because once you wake up and you realize what's really going on, now you have an opportunity to devise a plan. So we're going to talk about that as we get into this particular talk. God, I'm mad you made me beautiful. Why would you be mad that God made you beautiful? Because other people don't appreciate it. It's kind of like, who was that? Joseph with the Technicolor dream coat. His brothers, they were so jealous because he had a coat of many colors. They were so jealous of him that they sold him into slavery and left him to die. That's hard to believe, that your family would sell you out because of the coat of many colors. You are so amazing. You're not one-dimensional. But if you being great makes me feel small, then I got to pull you back down. And you're like, they ain't doing that. Your friends say, okay, she's just jealous of you. You're like, no, she can't be jealous of me. That's my cousin. Girl, your cousin is jealous of you. Why else would she say something crazy to you like that? Well, she's having a bad day and you're making excuses. And I made excuses for 40 years. Let me tell y'all something. Now, this is grown folk conversation. And so I'm going to say something as it happened to me. That's all I can say. When I was growing up, I was told that I was beautiful one day, and then the next day I was called a bitch. Do you hear me? And it started just like, where did that come from? And then I was accused of wanting somebody's man. I don't want that ugly man. I don't want him. Ladies, pay attention. Don't nobody want your man. Definitely your daughter don't want your man. Okay, she don't want your man. Your man might want her. And so you're looking like, well, what is going on? So whenever hell was going on, if I did something wrong, I went from being beautiful Dee Dee to you just a bitch. You just a bitch. And now I'm trying to be respectful because the Bible says to honor your mother and your father. Well, my mother was deceased. So the person taking care of me was my grandmother. Now, what I eventually learned is that my grandmother was done really badly, but I didn't know that So I began to personalize it, and it hurt like hell. Well, it continued on. It continued on. And I kept working harder because what did I want? I wanted her to just be proud of me. I want you to be proud of me. I just want you to tell me how proud of me you are. And some of my friends would say, Delores, she may never tell you that. And what are you going to do? And I was like, you don't understand. You don't understand. You don't understand. And they didn't understand. And they didn't know what was going on in my house because you protect people. So if you're living in a place where the person raising you or the people around you feel like you're beautiful, but at the drop of a hat, they can call you something else, then what does that say to you? So they hear all these crazy takes in your head. And studies have proven that one negative word is 16 times more powerful than a positive word. So therefore, you will need to hear something positive about yourself 17 times. I know that's like, whoa. That's why it's hard for you to shake certain things. And then you have an expectation. See, some of us don't want to step up and be assertive or be aggressive because we want to be accepted. But the fact that you're beautiful or you're powerful, there's just people who are going to have a problem with it because maybe y'all live in the same neighborhood, y'all got the same circumstances, but you decided to do something different. And that's not your fault. The beggar and the billionaire have the same thing. What do they have? 24 hours a day. You have the same 24 hours. The difference is the billionaire is building something different. The broke person is probably sitting there looking at excuses. Because being content or being comfortable, it's easy. The hard part is when you're great. You know how you go and you get them jobs? You know, like I did. I went to Barnes and Noble. I was like, Lord, I'm just going to be happy with this $150 a week. You know, that's when you've grown up in a place where you didn't have a lot. $40 is a lot of money. Ask me how I know. That's a lot of money. And you'd be like, $40? Honey, 220s? That was a lot for me. I didn't have a dad who did anything for me. I didn't. So when this man saw that I was living and now in a motel because of the situation going on at home, he went to the ATM and gave me $40. I was like, oh my God, I got $40. Don't laugh, but it was the truth, right? I got $40. I got $40. Y'all make sure y'all click tag and share this because I want to see more people in the discussion because we all have a situation and it's time out for people playing like nothing's wrong. People are dying. People used to say to me, Delores, how many more girls have to die before you tell your story? I was like, oh, you got a lot to say. Your life could be a movie. And now that I think about it, I was like, yeah, it could be. But right now, it's not even about me. It's about us. It's about the beautiful people who have just decided to take a back seat because somebody didn't like the fact that you were powerful and beautiful and wonderfully made. So they wanted to pour rain on your parade. And you wanted to be nice. It's time out for being nice, honey, okay? Huh? You can be polite, but you got to get some backbone. Be like, wait a minute. You're not going to talk to me like that. They're like, where'd that come from? It came from the fact that I'm going to stand up for myself. And then even if you have to run in your house and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. Because see, once you get a taste of who you really are, it's so foreign to you that you're ready to run away and you want to be comfortable, right? You want to be comfortable. But change can be hard. And sometimes change is necessary. When you look at the people around you, ask yourself, who am I becoming as a result of the people that I'm hanging around? Are you becoming bitter and sinister? And because you can't just hang with a person and their personality or their ways and mannerisms don't rub off on you. Someone asked the question, who's the matter with you? You know how people say, what's the matter with you? No, who is the matter with you? Who is in your head? Who's talking to you? What are they saying to you? What are they saying behind closed doors that nobody sees? See, everybody can show up at work or church like, I love Jesus and he is my friend. But they're a booger at home, okay? I know what I'm talking about. Who is the matter with you? Who Who is talking to you? And you are listening to them. I have a 21-year-old son, but when my son was growing up and he had dreams, why? Because I demanded that he would dream bigger. He didn't need to be homeless like I was. He didn't need to sleep in an abandoned home. He didn't need to catch a metro bus 2 hours before you had to go to school down at the junior college and go in the basement with 5 things: a bar of soap, a towel, toothpaste, toothbrush, and a song in my heart. And I would hit the hot spots. And I didn't have time to be like, do you have Dove? No, honey, I had to use whatever I had. I had an old stinky, tussy deodorant. If y'all don't know what it is, you don't need to. Ooh, it was stinky. But it wasn't effective. They didn't have the clinical kind now that they have, right, to hit up under the arms. And I had to do that. And I told myself, my son is not going to do that. He's not going to do that. Come hell or high water, he is not going to have to go through that. And even if we didn't have water at home, or if we didn't have heat, I listened to what my great grandmother would say. I remember she taking me up into the, the kitchen. And back then they had a tub, but they just didn't like to use them. I don't understand that to this day. But she would have the oven on, and the oven would be open, and then you could just see the steam coming from the water. You were like, oh my God, she's gonna burn me. No, and then she would take the soap and the towel. She said, come here, Dee Dee. And she's like, you better clean. You got to be clean because a man will talk about you like a dog. And then she's like rushing under my arm. And then she get down to the girl, right, to the good part. And she would be down there and she's like, oh, they'll talk about you like a dog. If he smells you, he's going to talk about you like a dog. And I'm thinking, Grandma, I'm 10 years old. But she was telling me, you got to take care of yourself. You have to remember that you have to take care of yourself. And so when I realized we didn't have heat in the house, and I thought about my grandmother, and I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to run some cold water, and I'm going to heat up some hot water, and I'm going to balance it out. And then I'm going to wake up my son, and I'm going to tell him, I'm going to give you a special bath. I'm going to give you a bath like my grandmother did. So I took him and I put him in the tub, and I had bubbles. Y'all know back then we used to use, a dishwashing liquid. Okay. Don't act bougie today. Don't act bougie today. Don't act bougie today. And I'm washing his little feet and his ears, and he's just like, Mommy, this is fun. And then, I got the towel. So when he stands up, I grab him, take him back upstairs, make sure he's warm, and put his clothes on for church. And then I go back down and boil more water. And then I do the same thing for myself. See, that's beyond beauty. That's called resourcefulness. They say beauty is skin deep. Honey, you need to listen. If you get mad because somebody tell you ugly, you got a long way to go. You got a long way to go. Hey, call me ugly. If you still doing that and you 40, 50, 60, we got to go to the root. What's the root of the problem? Where did you hear that lie? And what are you going to do about it? When Ricky came home and said, Mom, I said, what's wrong? I said, who are they? Who are they? I said, they are not your mother. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. And they don't matter. What are you going to do? Well, I said, Ricky, you ain't even going in the same direction as those people. So you don't even need to listen to them. Now Ricky is 21 years old, renting his own apartment, working on his second degree. He has an associate's, and now he's working on his bachelor's in romance languages. He is bilingual in French and Spanish and continuing on. Now, what would have happened if he would have said, they right? They weren't right, but you got to have somebody to counteract that. And so let me be that person. I'm Delores Jones, your comeback coach. I help you bounce back better, not bitter. This is a non-judgment zone because that's what you need in order to grow. But remember, everybody is human. You don't have to be mad at God because you're beautiful. You just have to know how to work it and appreciate it. And you have to ignore the people who really, do you know people will use you until they use you up? Did you know that? Did you hear me? You know the person that don't call you until they need something? And ladies, you know the guy we won't call unless we need something? Let's just be real with this thing, okay? All right. Y'all come on in the room. Come on in the room. Come on. Invite some more people to come on in here. Make sure you hit the notification button. I know sometimes new things make you feel some kind of way. And then people will look at you and they'll be like, I don't like her. You be like, you don't even know me. And then some people don't want the truth, but it's not about them. It's about you. What do you need to do to be better? Sometimes you got to let go of some people. Sometimes you got to leave some people with the asses. Y'all remember the story of Moses? He had to go up and, was it Moses, Lord Jesus? Bible scholars, I got some preachers on here too. The one who had to sacrifice his child. And they said, can we go with you? I think it was a Jacob. Was it Jacob? Anyway, he said, can we go with you? And he said, no, y'all stay here with the asses. See, when you're going higher, some people got to stay with the asses. They acting like an ass. They ask you asinine questions. They say, and you know they buttholes, but you be a nice boy. Don't you do that? Don't you say that? And then what happens? If we don't take the time to love on ourselves, we jump into another relationship. Case in point. So I leave that house as a teenager, going through all that hell, and I get married to the guy who gave me $40. $40. $40. It was $40. And I'm thinking, this person loves me because he gave me $40. But little by little, I began to see things. But see, when you're in a place of desperation, because you are either motivated by inspiration or desperation. Desperation is not a good thing to do. You want to be inspired, but like if your life is in danger, you want to get out. Okay. All right. So I married this guy, and I'm not even ready to get married. Have you done that before? Have you married somebody and you weren't ready to get married? As Dr. Robin Smith says, lies at the altar. There's a book called Lies at the Altar, and we need to read that. I was lying at the altar. I paid a great price for that too. But here I was now, I'm 23. I had graduated from the University of Missouri School of Journalism. I had no children whatsoever. But my mind was so messed up. And I had a false prophet say something to me. See, when you don't have anybody there to guide you per se, you're going to learn by trial and error. And so you have to give yourself credit. If your beauty got you there, your beauty isn't going to keep you there. If they say, come on in, you're so beautiful, then you go on in and sit at the board table and you get to take notes. And then just take yourself on out. Right? So here I am. I'm the way at school. I'm smart. In fact, I'm brilliant, but I'm still broken. And I got a decision to make. Do you graduate and go back to the man who cheated on you? I don't know, but God said I need to forgive. Are you sure? Yeah, well, when I get here, I'm going to take my ring off and I'm going to put it, on the table. So when I go on campus, I ain't going to have a ring on. But when he comes to visit me in the weekend, I'm going to put the ring back on. But I don't really like this ring. In fact, I didn't know how to tell him I liked the ring. And finally, I thought it was the ring that was the problem. So he ends up buying me 3 different rings. And then he says, this is it. But really, the problem wasn't the ring. The problem was me. The problem was the fact that I didn't know I had what it took to be on my own. And I just thought, okay, so I'm gonna marry this man, even though I was 2 hours late to my own wedding. That's a whole nother video, okay? I walked down the aisle and I lied at the altar because I was an actress, like some of you. You're acting like you're happy. You're acting like you got it together. You acting like everybody else wants you to act because you really haven't taken time to appreciate the gifts that you have, the gift of being beautiful. Now you're mad at God because he gave you something valuable just to give you access, not for you to live on, but to give you access. But don't let it get to your head, right? Don't let it get to your head. So here I am. I say I do when I shouldn't have. And for 7 years, I walked through the valley of the shadow of death. And the first thing on the table was, let's get rid of Dolores' clothes. See, I was a journalist, a major, and I had all these pretty clothes. Oh my God, I had all these pretty clothes, matching shoes. And see, I was tall, but I wasn't old. So my dress was like, had to hit me right here. And I didn't know, I didn't think God was mad about my knees. I mean, he gave them to me, right? But here I get into his marriage, and all of a sudden he says, there you go, looking in that mirror again. And I'm like, what? Well, that's what a mirror is for, right? So now I'm feeling strange. I don't even want to look in the mirror because my husband is telling me, by you looking in the mirror. He's not saying, baby, you know you look good. Because I'm thinking, aren't you going to tell me that? No, I ain't going to. He said, you don't know what you want to do. I said, I want to go to the Essence Festival. Delores, you don't know what you want to do. The truth was, I was so confused, but I was mad. I was very angry about that. In fact, I was suicidal again. Like, I just need to jump out this window. I don't need to do nothing. Just jump out this window and start over in heaven. Eventually, here I am, I'm being beautiful. He says, Delores, your clothes don't smell good. They don't smell good. I was like, what are you talking about? And I had a complex because when I was homeless, I couldn't take a bath and the kids teased me. So I didn't want people to get close to me. So he was trying to tell me that all of the clothes that I had when I was away at Columbia, at the University of Missouri School of Columbia, at the University of Missouri School of Journalism, and on television and getting my degrees, that none of my friends was going to tell me my clothes was stinking. Not one. I found that hard to believe, but because he was my husband, I took his word for it. And that meant all of those hundreds of thousands of dollars of beautiful clothes, we gathered them up because he said nothing could be done. That it was over. And we went to the big old green dumpster. He had a handful and I had a handful, and I didn't want to do it, but I felt like I had to. I mean, because he has my best interest at heart. And he threw the first load of my clothes in the trash. Then I handed him the other one, and then he threw it in the trash. And then we kept throwing things in the trash until I didn't have anything left. Do you ever feel like that? Like you don't have anything left? And so the saga continued. Now we're at the store. He says, okay, pick out something. So we're at Dillard's, and I pick out something long, and then I pick out something short. Because I'm young. I'm 23. He's 32, right? In ministry. So, that's a whole nother story. So I come out, I got this one dress on. I'm feeling like $1 million. I'm just feeling like $1 million. Okay. He said, that's too short. I said, well, it's really pretty. No, Delores, that's just too short. In other words, that's going to give you attention that I don't want you to have. So then I put on a long skirt, long dress, looking like somebody's grandma. He's like, oh, that's it right there. I like that. So now I'm like, but you said you were going to replace my wardrobe. Yeah, in time we'll replace it, but let's go on. So here I am, 23 now, with these long dresses. Now all of my self-esteem, all of my confidence, all of that is just going out the window. All the stuff that I worked for while I was at school, building up my confidence, building it up. I got in that one relationship, and it was like everything left. So I'm walking around like an old maid. People at church like, praise the Lord, Sister Delores. And I'm thinking, no, I need a key, Lord. I need to get up out of here. And then finally one day I remember, I said, forget that. I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to buy me a short dress. And it was one of them baby doll dresses, ladies. Y'all know the baby doll dress that kind of hits you mid thigh, and then it drops kind of in the back. And okay. So we're at the mall. And I'm walking with my husband. And he stops and he says, Delores. I said, yeah. He says, do you think that dress is too short? And I said, no, I don't. And besides, I'm with my husband. And I just kept on walking. But you can't keep doing that, because eventually it breaks you down. And the aftermath and the damage, you are left to deal with that. So the prayer isn't, God, I'm mad at you because you made me beautiful. The prayer is, God, make me stronger. The prayer is, God, show me how to capitalize on what you've given me, Father. Show me how to be okay with being okay alone. See, at this point now, I'll take myself to dinner with my book. And people, is somebody else coming? I said, no, it's just me. I show up to events with myself. New Year's Eve, I went to a party and they said, well, who are you with? I said, I'm with me. Because see, after you realize that the power really belongs to you, then you'll start to see things differently. And in 2020, don't we want to see things differently? Don't you want to see things, 2020 is like perfect vision? Any of you all wear contacts or glasses? Well, after a year, you have to go back and get another prescription because they're not going to refill an old prescription. And so when we talk about vision, some of us are still wearing the same old glasses And our vision has really changed. But you can't see clearly because you with the same old glasses, the same old mindset, that same old attitude, that same old person. You just desperate. Somebody said attention whore. I mean, I got it, attention. Because you really just want to be accepted. No, he said affirmation whore, right? You do anything for anybody as long as somebody tell you you're beautiful. And here's the thing, you don't need nobody to tell you nothing. God already told you who you are. In fact, why don't you take some time and do something that is really, really hard? Here is an assignment, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to take a compact, a mirror, when you're done watching this. And I want you to look in that mirror and I want you to say to yourself, Lenora, you're beautiful. I want you to hear yourself say it. I guarantee you, I did this activity and the young women in my class broke down crying. It was hard for them to accept what they believed about themselves because they had been so conditioned to think otherwise. The prayer isn't, God, I'm mad at you because you made me beautiful. It's, God, I thank you because you didn't have to do it, but you did. And you got work to do. And so I literally at times have to stop and say, Delores, you are beautiful. And Delores, I love you. Dolores, I love you. I love you so much. Yeah, you made some mistakes, but I still love you. You're still lovable. Now, me doing this on the video, listen, y'all, it took me years to get to that point. Years to say, you're beautiful. You know, because the focus has always been on what I was not. And no one can, you know, if you stay up in a situation like that where you hear that type of stuff for years upon years, don't expect for it to be like ta-da. You have to work on it. And then you have to become, it's good to become aware when that trigger is coming, right? So if somebody, like I told you, I grew up being beautiful, and the next thing I know I was a bitch, right? And I was dating this guy, and we're standing in the line to go to the movies, and he's with his friend who's high, and he says he's showing out for his friends, and so he calls me a bitch. And I don't know where I got the strength, but I had on a dress because it was Sunday. And I took him and body slammed him before I knew it. And I was on top of him with my knees. And I said, don't you ever call me a bitch again. Don't you ever. And so some of my family was with me and they pulled me off of it. I was like, this is crazy. This is so crazy. So I'm mad. We were at Indian Springs Mall. I'm leaving because I'm going to call my Aunt Joyce because I need her to come and get me because I'm real, real mad. This guy comes down the escalator. I'm on the phone with my aunt. His friend was like, yeah, man, don't you take that. He comes over to me and he knocks the hell out of me. And I fall down and I hit my head. Now, at that moment, I realized I was like Mike Tyson. I wasn't a fighter. I was a biter. I bit the hell out of him. Okay. And the police had to come, the security guard. And they was like, get her. She got to hold him. See, I hurt. Okay. Some people don't need to be beat. You just need to bite them out. Right. And they took me back and they were like, oh my God, that was a trigger. I don't just go around biting people. See, some of y'all just snapping people's head off. You gotta do the work. Today may be the very beginning of a great journey for you. You don't have another day to waste. You don't have any more time to waste. You don't have time to keep trying to appeal and to please people who don't give a damn about you, because it's their issue. It's not yours. It's okay to be beautiful. I'm going to say that again. It is okay for you to be beautiful. It's also okay for you to be brilliant. It's okay for you to be stock tall and statuesque. Like Lizzo said, it's okay for her to put on, some see-through pants and show her booty if she wanted to. Now, I'm not here to debate that. What I'm saying is I recognize self-esteem when I see it because I know what it doesn't look like. And sometimes you will do things to put yourself out there, but guess what? You can be corrected. So take the risk. Stand in your essence. Change your prayer to, God, I thank you that you made me beautiful, but you also made me brilliant and intelligent and sharp and phenomenal. See, those things are from the inside out. So the beauty is really from the inside out. But if you keep focusing from the outside in, then you'll continue to cater to people who just have a preference. Don't allow somebody's preference to become your problem. When you find yourself making excuses for not being great, when you find yourself for making excuses and talking about yourself, talking down to yourself, standing in the mirror for like 15 hours because you can't decide what dress you want to wear, then it makes you late. Mm-hmm. I put a dress. Okay, no, that's too short. They're going to say something crazy. Okay, but this is really the dress I want. Now, you're not a hoe, okay? If you're intelligent and you know how to dress, and if you don't, somebody can teach you. But when you're thinking about it's going to bring being beautiful and being statuesque is going to bring more attention to you that you really didn't ask for. See, that's part of the challenge. You're like, God, I didn't even ask for this. I didn't ask to be beautiful. God, I didn't want this. Why would you give this to me? So because I can trust you with it. Because you're not going to stop there. Sometimes things happen to us as this particular quote says, adversity introduces a man or woman to themselves. See, when the heat is on, you need to find out what's coming out. If I squeeze an orange and it's over there, Lord, it's over there. What's coming out, Angel? Apple juice? Okay, if I squeeze this one, what's coming out? Lemon juice? No, honey. I squeeze an orange, guess what? Orange juice is coming out. When the pressures of life start to squeeze you, what's going to come out? Remember the story about me being jealous of a friend and confronting the jealousy. I didn't confront her. I confronted the jealous feelings inside of me. And I realized it was attached to the fact that my mother was dead and her mother was still here. You don't have anybody to impress. You don't. Take your power back. Be appreciative of that one thing you have. And then work it. If being beautiful gives you access to places, and believe me, it does. But don't let that just be it for you. When you open your mouth, be brilliant, be bold, be tenacious. But it's not going to come from the outside. It's an inside job. You know that movie? I think it was Denzel Washington. I love you, Denzel. And it's an inside man. It's an inside job. Don't look for others to give you what God already gave you naturally. As my friend Nadine, who's right here watching, and she said, give yourself grace. Sometimes that's hard. We'll give it to everybody else, but we won't give ourselves grace. We won't accept that we're just fine the way we are. Will you decide to change that today? Well, I hope so. And if you do, I want you to continue to go along with me. I'm Delores Jones, the Comeback Coach. I'm also the author of a book called Stop the Dumb Stuff. D.U.M.B stands for destructive, unsettling, miserable behavior. Aren't you miserable waiting for somebody to tell you how awesome you are? Don't you feel miserable when you constantly hear the same old stuff? Because you're trying to be too nice? I don't want them to feel bad. They're going to feel bad, but they'll get over it. They'll get over it. It's okay for you to walk into a room and be cool. And when you find yourself retreating back into that old mindset, start talking to yourself. Our former First Lady, Michelle Obama, who's always going to be my First Lady, she recently did an interview. And she was talking about the imposter syndrome. And I don't know if you know what that is, but an imposter syndrome is feeling as if you don't belong someplace because somebody told you weren't supposed to be there. And when you get access to that place, now you feel like you're not supposed to be there and somebody's going to find out that you ain't supposed to be there. Because you don't feel like you got there, that your own intelligence, because somebody told you. And so here is Michelle Obama, the Michelle Obama. And she talked about this and she said she would wait to fall, to mess up, and to fail. That's what imposter syndrome looks like. And it shows up in different ways. I was the same way for a very long time, for over 40 years. And I didn't get the click until recently, like literally. And I broke down crying. I mean, it was like, why did I let that happen to me? I was like, God. And I had a good cry, y'all. And I ain't done crying. Because when you wake up and you realize that you're living beneath your privilege because somebody else has a problem that you cannot solve, if you have to realize this, listen, I was told, my grandmother we were talking, and something happened in family, and she said, "We're all you got." And I said, "No, you're not all I have." And it wasn't a disrespectful thing. It was more of, if I continue to believe that you're all I have, then I'm going to continue to accept things that I don't want to accept. Right? I'm no longer going to accept you calling me a bitch. I'm just not going to do that anymore. I did that too long. Okay? I'm not gonna accept that anymore. And if you choose not to talk to me anymore, that's fine. Oh, Dee, you just on there, the Facebook and stuff, because you're trying to be like Oprah, but you ain't got to throw your family under the bus. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I'm communicating my truth. Because we all have done something wrong. Because there's some good in some of us, and there's some bad in some of us. But you want to make sure the good starts to outweigh the bad. But if you're hating on yourself and you're staying in those environments in which you cannot grow, you're going to look up. I'm 49 years young now. 49 years young and still fine, if I can say so myself. And see, some people like, that's arrogance. No, baby, I'm finally convinced. That's what your trial is about. To convince you of who you really are. Is that okay? Convince you of who you really are. So stop trying to shake it off, shake it out. No, I'm okay. I told a friend of mine, I said, you know what, we're going to go in here, I'm going to be incognito. She said, Delores, you cannot be incognito. It's like, I don't want to be noticed. She said, Delores, you can't help it. You're 5'10", you put on your stilettos, you got 6 feet, you are a beautiful woman. The other day I went to buy if any of you all shop on Facebook Marketplace, so I saw this rug I wanted. So I drive way out into this beautiful neighborhood. And I'm like, okay. And so I knock on the door to get this rug. And this lady opens the door and she goes, oh my God, you are stunning. Now, I didn't ask her to say that. She looked at me and those were her words. And I said, thank you. She said, you are beautiful. And I said, okay, thank you. Thank you. And then I bought the rug. And she just kept looking. Now, I didn't do that. God did that. Now, he gives you something, you take care of it. That means you don't put drugs in your system. You don't sit and drink yourself into a drunken stupor. You don't just let any and everybody touch your body. Hello? And if you found yourself doing that, stop. You can stop right now. At any moment, you can change your mind. But wherever your mind is, your behind is going to follow. So the first thing is to get your mind right. Get your mind right. Focus and expose yourself to things and information that is going to build you up so that you appreciate what God has given you. Stop wanting to be ugly. You just ugly. UGLY. You ain't got no alibi. You just ugly. You ugly. We used to do a cheer like that, right? You're not ugly, honey. You're beautiful. You're unique. You have a different DNA. You are a designer's original. And I know for some of us, we don't want to hear it because we're like, girl, I don't love you. You're not a knockoff, honey. You're not a knockoff. Stop trying to be a knockoff. Okay? There's only one you. Everybody else is taken. Other people may inspire you. They may encourage you, but everybody else is taken. You're not a knockoff. You're not some cheap version of Coach. You're just not. I need to tell you that. If you need me to keep telling you, I'm going to tell you that for a minute, but eventually you're going to have to say that for yourself, because when the music stops, do you know how to be like David and encourage yourself in the Lord? And when you feel that way, like there are times, I'm getting ready to get off of here, but there are times, some days I wake up feeling ugly. You ever woke up just feeling ugly? You're like, oh, I just feel so ugly. Well, when you deal with depression and stuff like that, it's gonna come. And so it's like, Dolores, yes. Weren't you beautiful yesterday? Yeah. Well, you're the same person you were. You're that same beautiful woman. Your hair may look different. You need to go wash your face, pick yourself up, but you're still that same beautiful woman. Hmm. And nobody's going to change that. So accept it and be okay with the people that walk away. Because if they walk away, they weren't meant there to be there anyway. You know, you can't take everybody with you. Sometimes when you're going to the next level and the next level, you need a two-seater. I tell beautiful women this. People, I say, listen, girl, stop trying to put everybody in your SUV. You have a two-seater. You can't fit everybody in the two-seater. Everybody can't go. Well, I just, listen, everybody can't go. So would you rather stay back there or would you rather forge forward? Would you rather move forward? And guess what? Everybody's not going to like it because for some people, you are their way out. But you can't help anybody if you don't help yourself first. Did y'all see that story about the bras? They got these red bras that they're selling. So you want to wear it when you're on a plane. And so if the cabin temperature goes down, you're supposed to take your bra off and put it. Yeah. I said, well, what would they think of now? But you know, I'm going to give me one of them red bras, right? Okay. Anyway, you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'm Delores Jones, the comeback coach. You all have been watching me on my YouTube channel, Delores Jones TV, and Facebook, my faithful Facebook followers. I want you to all go to YouTube and I want you to subscribe and then hit the notification button and then share. Because eventually I'm going to offer webinars and services that you're going to just have to have a special access code to get in. So if you're sitting there believing like some other people say, I need to talk to Dolores, I need to work with her. Maybe you're like the young woman who I met over Facebook, and she was in a very abusive marriage for 25 years, young. And we first started talking last year at the beginning of the year. And I took some time and called her back. So if you send me a number and I call you back, you're like, is this really you? Yeah, it's really me. I really called you back. You're worthy of a phone call back. Now, if I can't do it, I just can't do it. So we're talking and I'm telling her what to do. Make sure you go ahead and, get your kids' birth certificates together and your social security cards, because when you get ready to bust a move, you ain't got time to be trying to get what you need when you get ready to leave. And like I tell the women, stop talking so much. You ain't no good. I'm going to leave you. I know. He already know that. You just keep doing what I did. I was like, let me take a sip. Hold on. I was just like, okay. I stopped talking. I stopped spending his money. You want to go shopping? No, I'm good. Kept on doing what I had to do. I was washing the clothes. I was folding his and packing mine up. Okay. I had a house where somebody was renting it. So I went and got me a duplex and put the key in my glove compartment box. I ain't got time for this. You work too hard to let somebody tear you down. So the young woman, she listened to that. And I told her, I said, I told y'all that too on Facebook. I said, so the day came, I had hired some movers and we got up and I got dressed and he got dressed. He said, I love you. I said, I love you too. And the truth was I still loved him, but I loved me more. So he got in his car, I got in my car, he drove onto the highway, I circled the block, and I came back in, the movers moved up, my family came, and we was getting it going. We had a couple of hours to get up out of there. And I wasn't being mean. I left him some furniture. I even left him the bed that he had somebody else in. Okay, anyway, don't come for me. I left him the bed. I wasn't trying to break a brother. I was just trying to do what was best for me. So when he came home, who was not there was Delores May Jones. Because I ain't got time to play with you. I ain't got time to play with you. Listen, if you got work to do, grow the hell up and get in some therapy. And then as quiet as it's kept, everything that's looks good to you ain't good for you. Some people you don't even need to be with. So this young lady, She even got my book. She got my book called Stop the Dumb Stuff. And you can get it at my website, DoloresInspiresMe.com, or just send me a message in Messenger, because we're doing some things with my website. But anyway, this book is so small that you can put it in your purse. And I wrote it like that on purpose, because y'all, when we're struggling, I ain't have time to go through no doggone encyclopedia. I need you to give it to me and give it to me straight. Straight. Stop the dumb stuff. So let me report to you that this young woman that I have been working with, she contacted me like right before Christmas. And she was so excited. She says, Delores. I said, what? She said, I did it. I finally did it. I said, what? And she's writing, she's typing. And she's like, I left. After 25 years, I left. And Delores, I went to a shelter temporarily. It's just temporary. It ain't forever. She says, and then I got blessed with a house. She said, and Delores, I had to leave some stuff that my mama gave me behind. She said, but then God put people in my life, and they brought things back into my life. See, sometimes you got to leave everything. You're going to leave him with the asses. You're going to leave the couch or whatever. Listen, the cookies, those stilettos, I know we want to go back and get them, we go back and get them shoes. Honey, you just going to have to get some more. But I want you to win in 2020. Don't you want to win in 2020? I'm just asking you the question. And if your answer is yes, then why don't you come back and join me again? I'm always going to put out an announcement that I'm here. And all you have to do is, take a seat, get your drink. This is actually grape peach juice or something like that. I got it from Walmart. I got to take a sip. And then get you a notebook. Because most of this stuff you ain't going to remember, because we only retain so much. But if you can go back and look over the notes instead of watching all that TV and scrolling on social media just senselessly. I mean, you're not even looking for nothing. You just looking. Oh, who's that? Oh, they're on there eating some chicken on Facebook. Oh, let me just watch. Oh, what kind of chicken is that? How's that going to help you? All right. You need to stop and pause. Set it. I'm going to watch this because this is going to get me from A to B. But this is going to help me challenge the lies. Because if you hear something often enough, the lie will become the truth for you, because somebody told you and you believe them. Well, some of those beliefs are no longer serving you. And so we need to let them go. That's only if you want to go higher. Now, is it hard? Hell yeah, it's hard. Is it worth it? Hell yeah. Is it easy? Hell no. Is it worth it? Hell yeah. And for those of you who don't believe in saying hell, heck yeah. Whatever suits your fancy. I just want you to get the information. I don't want you to do the work. I'm Delores Jones. I'm based in Kansas City. That's right. Actually, I'm a Kansas girl. Somewhere over the rainbow, honey. But we got more than rainbows, cows, and grass. We got powerful people. Janelle Monáe is from Kansas. She went to the same high school that I went to. Okay, come on, somebody come through. But you have to reach out. You got to stretch out. You got to get your passport. Anybody got your passport? Get your passport. Stop shoulding on yourself. I should do this. I should do that. I should. Stop shoulding on yourself. That's all I got to say about that. Make sure that you click, tag, and share the video. Thank you for your comments, for your compliments, just for your time, because you didn't have to spend your time with me, but I'm so glad that you did. And I hope that you're going to come back again and again and again. For those of you that are my YouTube followers, welcome to my channel, Delores Jones TV. Hit that notification button, would you? And we're going to come back and do some more things, because what is my job? I am going to give you candid discussions that are intriguing, they're inspiring, and they're uplifting, and they are lively about things that are important to you. To you. This is all about you. What's important to you, so that you can have your best life ever. I'm here for you, but you have to show up, okay? Show up so we can show out. Give them something to talk about, honey. Give them something to talk about. And then thank the critics for free advertisement. Just thank them for free advertisement. That's all I'm saying about that. Bye for now, y'all. Because I don't give a sip. I'm going to do me. Now pop your collar. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hello, hello to all of you. Hello.